Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore, where today we're finally going to continue with the storyline of Kamigawa. We took about a week off, but that was mainly because of me being down with the sickness. But now we are back, and we're going to be continuing the whole deal with Kaito and his journey through Kamigawa as he tries to find just what is to happen to his emperor.
Kaito.
And so basically what it starts off with in this one episode is that he's going through the city, kind of just doing his thing. He's following a lead, and you kind of get this really cool sense of what this world is like. You have a tea shop to the side. You have there's a spirit serving ramen. They have little ramen bowls like floating around their head, and they're like pouring the soup out and stuff like that. It's amazing.
So he's back in Kamigawa?
Yes. At this point, he goes back to Kamigawa. It had been 10 years since, not 10 years. It says it exactly right here.
9 years.
Oh, well, it says it has been 10 years since he had left the walls of Iganjo. But I think it's been roughly 2 years since the last time we actually saw him. So,
do we get any other exploits of him and other planes, or is he always just coming back to Kamigawa as his base of operations?
We don't really see any of the stuff that happened in other planes. We do know that he went to the planes because he talks about it, but that's basically it. It's the whole tell, don't show scenario that Wizards likes to do.
But this is his home thing. He'll always come back here. He's been here back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically what winds up happening is that he's here, and Aiko is basically telling him, like, look, I've heard rumors about an illegal bioenhancement deal that's going on where they're messing with the physics of reality. And Kaito's like,
did he know Tamio prior?
No. So
she just comes up to him just like, hey, Kaito, there's this thing that's happening. Hi, who are you?
Well, this is Aiko who's telling him.
Oh, I heard Tamio. I'm just like, I don't know why I was thinking Tamio.
Because Tamio will be showing up at some point in the next few episodes.
Spoilers.
Oh, Joe, if you want spoilers, let's look at her card.
What? That's just the War of the Spark Tamio right there.
Yeah, of course.
There's no spoilers there. She's a collector of tales. We knew that. She's got a bunch of scrolls and books. Yeah. Come on, Ricky.
So, Aiko basically is telling Kaito, there's some illegal stuff going on with the Futurists. And obviously, Kaito, he aligns himself with the Futurists because he believes in their freedom to be able to create as much as they want and stuff like that.
There's some illegal stuff going on with the Futurists, yeah, and?
Yeah, pretty much. But she's saying that it's messing with the physics of reality, and it's really, really bad stuff. And so she's basically saying, hey, look, you need to go investigate that because there's been rumors of a guy with a metal arm among them. And he's like, well, why are you, you're just telling me all this because you're trying to convince me that the Futurists are bad. And she's like, no, I'm trying to help you because you've been searching this entire time. And then here we have this thing where basically says, last I checked, the only people trying to start a war are the ones who want the same thing you do, Aiko says to Kaito. And he says, I do not support the uprisers, but Kyoto hasn't been herself since the Emperor vanished. What happens if something goes wrong with the merge gates and destructive kami are unleashed? It could take millennia for the mortal and spirit realms to become one again. That's 1,000 years of uncertainty. The kami wars may be legend, but can we honestly guarantee we won't see a threat like that again? And so basically all this is happening. Kaito, Aiko, they're kind of arguing, and she tells him, look, if you want to follow this route, do it. It's going to get you the answer you're looking for. But it's about Tameshi. And if you remember, Tameshi was the guy they met in the forest. He's the one who gave them Himoto. Himoto being the little tanuki that's on Kaito's shoulder all the time.
Yes.
And he's like, nah, Tameshi's a good guy. Tameshi helped me out when I had basically nowhere else to go. It can't be him.
Jaboy.
It's Jaboy, indeed. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at Tameshi's artwork really closely, but not only is he like really cool, but if you look inside of his hands, he's holding the reality chip.
Oh, I'm sure that's not used for evil.
Yeah, that's a totally normal thing. And so basically Kaito, to kind of cut through all the stuff that happens, he eventually does agree, okay, look, I'm going to go find out the truth. I'm not going to let you use my friend as a scapegoat for whatever it is you're upset about. I'm going to go find out what happened, and I'm going to clear his name. And so as he's going, he knows that Tameshi's been kind of distant and kind of weird lately, and that he's definitely trying to hide something. And that he wasn't just hiding it from Kaito or from other people in the outside world. He was hiding it from other futurists. And so Kaito would see him, and they were friends and everything, but he was carrying on with this really weird project, and he didn't really understand where it was going. And he knew that Tameshi was kind of shady. He had seen him working in the back alleyways, going into the Undercity, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that illegal and betrayal aren't necessarily the same thing, especially for Kaito. You can do plenty of illegal things and still be a friend to Kaito.
Finds the Emperor just like, you don't know how many illegal how many people I've killed, things I've stolen to find you. What? I'm glad I finally found you. That's what I thought you said.
I mean, even right here, it says Kaito wasn't ready to face the truth, but for the Emperor's sake, he would do it anyways. So yeah, really everything he does is for the person that he loves, his best friend, his dearest friend, as the song says. By the way, there was an album that came out. I don't know if you mentioned
in the description below.
Yeah, there's an entire album that came out.
We're not sponsored, by the way, but it is awesome. We built a table to it.
Yeah, we did. We moved an entire table with Victory to what was it? Path to Victory? Path to Victory. Yep, so solid. Get you pumped. Okay.
Wanderer's basically Mulan.
Yeah, and the Wanderer can rap. That's canon now. The Wanderer raps.
Wanderer's got some sick beats. The Wanderer should be red white for her fire track.
Anyways, so basically Kaito he sneaks into this warehouse and he finds Tameshi and he sees him, and there's these crates and there's things inside of the crates, things kind of screaming inside of the crates, and he finds a blueprint. Like Kaito earlier had found a blueprint of the chip, of the reality chip. But he has no idea what it is. It just looks like a jellyfish with made of machinery, right?
That's what I look like.
Sadly, that is not entirely wrong. So basically, he's in this warehouse, right? And he says, as he sees it, well, I'm just going to describe what he sees. Inside the warehouse, the Tanuki drone floated toward a dark space above the rafters. Metal crates filled most of the room, but at the far end was an open area filled with tables and lab equipment. Glowing beakers were contorted around one another like a maze of glass. Some bubbled with neon liquid and others sparked with energy. Surgical instruments littered the surface. Oddly shaped knives that looked like wide triangles, and others that were thin as twigs. Smaller beakers filled with strange metallic-hued serums were laid out on a work table, and fragments of metal and frayed wire surrounded each other like puzzle pieces that didn't quite fit. Unease ran through Kaito's bones. These experiments looked nothing like the futurist work he'd seen on Otawara, or anywhere on Kamigawa. And as he gets closer, he sends his little drone closer and closer, he hears a voice. The fleshling's previous utility is irrelevant. Doubt and weakness must be excised from the whole. And he sees this enormous figure. It's made of chrome, with clawed arms and a curved spine, exposed ribs and pointed vertebrae displayed like metalwork, and a face and mouth monstrous and bird-like, with too many sharp points and long, flat teeth. Obviously, he was terrified of this.
Maybe it's friendly.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, obviously, this is Jin Kataxius. And one thing it doesn't mention here, which I'm really upset about, I wish they had. If you look in the manga, you'll see it, and if you look really closely at his artwork, you'll also see it. He's basically wearing half of a kimono, I think. It's some kind of traditional garb, that you would see a samurai wearing. The big.
So he got in spirit to go take over Kamigawa.
He's dressed for success.
I was just we got to take over a place. I need something from there. Where is it? Kamigawa. Let me get my robe on. You don't need to. Okay.
So basically, there's a bunch of reckoners and a whole bunch of other things happening, and basically Kaito realizes that Tameshi is in over his head, and as they're loading the cargo onto a vehicle, he hears them screaming, and he realizes that the voices are not animal or human, but are actually Kami. So Tameshi and Jin Kataxius have been experimenting on the Kami, and that was not good.
It doesn't sound good. But we know they've been
Yeah.
experimenting on commies because what's his face is related with them. Reality Architect guy. No, not still Tameshi. The not a mech pilot guy.
What?
There's a guy that's a mech pilot, but then there's also a guy that's not a mech pilot.
You mean from the commander set?
Yes.
That guy's not even a part of the story.
Really?
He doesn't even show up.
Oh.
I know.
But he's directly worked. Shorikai's literally related to the plot.
It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense.
Like,
There's a lot.
what if we
thing
could
is
put a
that-
commie in a giant machine? You're not relevant to us. We're just gonna use this tiny chip. Okay.
And I actually really liked it because I didn't understand what they were doing. Once you get to the end of the story, it makes sense why everything's happening the way it is. But basically, at this point, Jingataxi just tells the henchman, all evidence must be eradicated. Expansion of the work will continue in a more optimal location, courtesy of the fleshling.
Does he kill Tameshi?
Basically, the entire place gets wrecked, exploded, destroyed, and Kaito like goes down there trying to see who he can help, if there's any kami he can save, and he sees Tameshi on the ground, and he's just been like dunked on. He is like mortally wounded, right? He's just in a pool of his own blood, and
It's better than a pool of somebody else's blood, but still not a kind of pool I'd want to be in.
it is worth noting that the reason he's sitting there like that is because Tameshi tried to stop Jingataxius, and Jingataxius was like, "You're no longer useful," and just slashed him across the body with his metal arm.
So he gained a conscious at the worst point in time.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Tameshi dies. And he even says that I've made so many mistakes, but I knew was the worst of them. And he's like, just like, save your strength, please don't. And the last thing Kaito says to him is, how do you know the man with the metal arm? And then Tameshi dies. The last
Where are
thing-
they? Oh.
There is one more thing Tameshi says before he dies, though. He says a single word, a name. Tezzeret.
I know that name.
Yes.
Kaito
And so-
doesn't, but
And so this story actually ends with Tameshi in Kaito's arms, and Kaito being like, you know what? I have to leave. I have to get out of here. It doesn't matter that my best friend just died, and I feel terrible about it, and my emotions are... We have to cook. We have to find Tezzeret. And so that's how this story ends, is with Kaito getting a new lead, a name to go off of.
nice. That is good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked the video. Subscribe for Kamigawa that we finally got to. Took forever, but yeah.
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 Kaito.